She waits. The siren of the Irish Sea. For the brave, for the fearless, for the bold, seeking out their destiny. In the heart of every rider, her rhythm beats like a drum, the pulse of everything you trained for, of everything you've sacrificed and have become. And in the heart of every fan, she draws you in, pounding at your soul, injecting life through your veins, a desire born to your blood. You have one focus, one passion, one goal. And finally, you are with her. The wait comes to an end. A legacy before you. Electricity in the silence. Anticipation echoes through the air. You are not alone here. A band of brothers, of sisters, of warriors and friends. Because this is living and this is life. She is everything you expected. And the call of the road is upon you. Desire in your spirit. Thunder and lightning between your bones and your soul. This is the moment you've been waiting for. This is your moment. This is the Isle of Man TT.
This is the Isle of Man TT, Right on the Edge 2. My opinions, my thoughts versus Isle of Man, Right on the Edge 3. Welcome to a slow and steady video here on the channel. My name is KT and today is, well, it's old school Viking Sunday. I just can't leave them alone. What a cracking game this is. We're going to talk about what's good about 2, what's good about 3, what's bad about 2, what's bad about 3. I've been playing them quite extensively the last couple of days, and I gotta say that both have a place on your system, really. Look at the colours on that bike. It just looks stunning. Your usual things, single player, multiplayer, extras, of course. Going into single player, the flags look great. I think a close-up of the tyre there, just see the blistering on the rubber there, just looks incredible. Going into single player, you've got career, quick race, time attack, free roam, and tutorial. Now, let's quieten this down a little bit and let's talk about this game. Might turn this down in my headphones, and hopefully you can hear me over the top. So the UI is absolutely lovely. Starting with the top left hand side, you can see my name. Now this is probably one of the most fundamental differences between 2 and 3, is the fact that you can have a career. You can enter your name, you can choose your bike, go through sponsorships, and on 3 you can't. You can only race as official riders, so you don't actually feel like you're progressing as a career. I think that was one of my biggest problems with 3, because I like working on a career. I like having my rider, and feeling I've got some sort of decisions over how I'm moving forward. We've got a garage here, so of course you can buy bikes as you go. This is my garage actually, so you sort of get signed to a bike. So I'm signed to the Triumph Daytona 675. I've chosen to get signed with them, and I've sort of been working on the parts as I'm going. I've got a level 1 suspension there, level 3 transmission, still a level 1 engine, brakes, chassis. Now the interesting thing about the chassis was, if you look over on the weight, 164.8. If you go down to 1, it goes up to 166. So all these parts are really important on helping your bike streamline to get even quicker and quicker. And you'll spend your first couple years as a rookie. You can't even get into the TT. You have to go through the Irish races in order to get accepted, or an invitation onto the TT. There's a lot of depth here. So I'm just going to put that level 4 chassis back on. And we're going to go back. While we're in my garage, I did manage to buy myself an R6. And some of the races you don't have to do with your sponsored bike. So you can take your own bike. So maybe it's an R6 or a Suzuki, you know, or so forth, you know. So let's take a look at the bikes while we're talking about them. Let's go to the shop. Here we've got the super sport bikes. I imagine they're the 600, so Honda CBR 600, Kawasaki ZX6R, the Triumph Daytona 675s, which is what I have at the moment, and I've also bought myself an R6. The super bike, probably the thousands, BMW 1000, whilst we've got there a Honda CBR, a Kawasaki ZX10R, got Norton and a Suter bike as well. We've got some classics. So Yamaha TZ750. I remember the Yamaha TZR 250 or 150 back in the day. I was so tempted to get a bike, but I just wasn't allowed. But there you go. We've also got different liveries as well that you can unlock as you go. There's a lot of depth here. There really is. So if we're talking about bikes, and we're going to come to Ride 3. But like I said, you've only got the official riders and the official liveries. But with this, of course, in my garage, I've got my own livery on my R6. So it does feel like a bit more personal. We've got the race calendar here. You get emails. And of course, you know, they're writing to you, which is really nice. Hi, KT. We've just created a new challenge for the Irish Challenge Zone. This is a chance for you to show what you're capable of. We've got another one here. Hi KT, you've just received your 5th signature from the Irish Championship. I won't talk too much about the game because, well, maybe I will. So you have to pick up signatures in order to get an invitation to the TT. Now, when you go to the calendar, you're sort of left with a choice. So you can see I'm down in March. I've worked through July, August, September, October, November, December, and I started a new career. I've really thrown quite a bit of time into this the last few days. But here we are in April, and on this particular day, I've got a choice of 3 races. So you're going to miss 2 of them because you have to choose which one you want to prioritize. Another interesting thing about this game over the 3rd one is the fact that with the Isle of Man Ride on the Edge 3, you can only race in Ireland. With this one, you can see top right hand corner, we're going to Northern Ireland. So we're not just staying in Ireland. And even more than that, if I go down to the next one, that's the Isle of Man, so that's Ireland. But here we have Wales. You'll also go to Scotland, and you will also go to England. So it's across the British Isles. So not only does this have a career, sponsorship, buying bikes, working on parts, you also get to race in England, Scotland, Wales, Ireland and Northern Ireland. I think that's what sold me about this game. However, this game does appear to have a more arcadey type experience. So we're going to dive into a bit of a race in a minute, but you'll see, rather than me shout over the engines and trying to figure out the corners, but you'll see that you'll be able to clatter into the bikes with no real consequence. Sometimes I've hit the curb and I've been able to stay on the bike. You'll also see that the bike seems to not float. It feels like it's on the tarmac, but it seems to kind of go off in the distance if you're going down a straight, or it seems to float to the left or to the right. Whereas on Ride on the Edge 3, it's fixed, and it feels like you feel like you're moving the world rather than, like, I don't know, it's a weird sensation, but this has more of an arcade feel about it. So let's do a race. Let's get into it. So I want to do not Northern Ireland, so I can only do one of the three, right? Wales. But I'm trying to get into the TT, so I'm just doing the Welsh stuff at the moment. I think on my year 2, I'll do some of the English, Scottish and Welsh stuff, and that way I would have earned enough reputation to be at the TT anyway, you know? But if you pick up this game, it will make more sense to you as you kind of go on. So I'm going to do the mounting course. You do have some perks, so increases your reputation if you finish in top 3. Increases money earned. I could actually do with that one, so I'm gonna use that one, I think. So with this particular bike, with this particular race, some of them you have to race your sponsored bike, and I had a contract or have a contract with Triumph. But with this particular race, I can take my own R6. However, I have been working on my sponsored bike. So you can see the weight of this R6 is 170, but this bike is 164. We can see that let's have that horsepower, 123 horsepower, 131. Max speed, 160, 159. So for now, because this is a medium race, I'm going to take this Triumph because I think it's got a better chance of winning. So you're trying to kind of like manage your garage as well. Like I said, there's a lot to this game. So here we are, Isle of Man. Like I said, you will go across to Northern Ireland, Wales, Scotland and England. So this is a point-to-point race, time trial. And you'll see what I mean. Rather than me talking when I'm racing, it just has a more arcadey, super hang-on type feel, you know? However, the game looks and runs, there's no frame drops, it's stunning. Let's get some revs up. And off we go. So you'll see that actually the world looks pretty good actually. There's no real pop-in, there's no load-in, despite the speed, there's no frame drops. Let's go back up slightly for that. But yeah, like I said, the bike just seems to be a little far away, and this is the closest you can get to it. So just back off and run around this corner. We can hold this one flat. There was a bit of brake for this one. Recognise that for the TT, that's over the railway or the tram lines. I've never been to the Isle of Man, but I've owned every single game they've ever released. Can I hold this flat? So we didn't need to brake through there really. How about this one? Can I hold this flat? Yes I can, get on those brakes. Now I'm starting to recognise where we are. 6 miles to go, Brandywell. Should be able to hold this one flat. I'm not sure about that left, maybe. I'll just back off slightly. Add a bit more. Perhaps I could have held that. Maybe not this one. No, let's get on the brake just a little bit. Like I said, the bike just seems a little bit far away, and it seems to have a little bit of an arcade feel about it. So, flat out. I think we can hold flat through here. Might have to just roll off for that left-hander. Yeah, I'm a bit on the brake to be fair. Probably could have been a bit bold through there. Sometimes the driving line is sort of hinders rather than helps. Because you can get away with a bit more, than you think really. Just going to back off there. I know that one's down to the the Bar pub. The famous pub on the circuit, the TT. Get on those brakes because this is a hard right. And feels pretty good, 3 miles to go. Like I said, the colour, the way it runs, it's sound of those trees whipping by with the wind. We're holding flat. Bit of a left-hander here. I'm back on slightly, just rolling in. Bit of mist about, but you will have some lovely sunny evenings when you're racing. This is a 600, by the way, obviously not the thousands. It's 1.6 miles to go. Oh, hard right under there. Is that leading back onto the start straight? Can I get it stopped? Can I? Jesus Christ. Signpost corner, if I remember rightly. I can't see that. I said Bedstead corner, but oh, this is down to the roundabout. Is that right? I want to say this is, yeah, back onto the start straight, so it'll hang a hard right, which always seems a bit weird. It's so slow. And look at me, absolutely oversteered, probably on the fucking side of the grass. Oh, I don't care for this bit of circuit, especially when that bike is just so far away. That's another bike rider behind us, so I presume we've not set a good time, because you should be... Yeah, I don't reckon that will be any good. So May Brown has put in a 4:07. We're waiting for Travis to come over the line. Felt pretty quick, but that's a medium difficulty. Anyway, we're just here to showcase the game today. So yeah, I've been knocked down to third, 4:07. I reckon I'll be lucky to get. Let's just push finish fourth. There you go. So it's all to do on the race, really. Quite cool music, I've got to say, and the screenshots as well. It's stunning. You get to run your own career. You have emails back and forth with different things. You've got a race calendar that goes across all of the British Isles. You get to buy bikes. You can not only race your sponsored bike, but you can build your own garage. And that's Wide on the Edge too, but it just seems to have this bit of an arcade, bit of a floaty feel to it. Now when we come to Wide on the Edge 3, which we're going to do next, it's just a bit more planted, a bit more sim-like. Let's do it. Let's go across to Ride on the Edge 3. So, Ride on the Edge 3, still with the KT engine, but the interesting thing about this one is the fact you've got free roam across the entire island. You know how we were racing down to the Craig, is it the Craig de Bar, something like that? Normally as you race down that straight, it's a right-hander at the bottom, but with this game, if you're in free roam, you can take a left, and you can head up and just head somewhere else. So that's one of the most beautiful things about this game, is this free roam. But one of the downsides of this is you have to race as one of the official riders. Now that might be fine, you might be really down with that, but like I said, I really like the career. So let's dig into it. Again, the beautiful screenshots there of the crazy Isle of Man. Now I've got this. I've got this another Triumph. To be fair, I think this is also a 600. But you have to choose who you want to race with. So it's a cool livery. To be fair, we've got this Iron Maiden Trooper livery. If I go down to the tank, hold on a second. How do you get down? Nope. Circle. Look at that on the tank. Iron Maiden Trooper there. Bike sounds pretty good. Movement there on the hands and the clutch and the front brake. And I'm just I'm terrible at that. So I have to race. I have to race on here, but the levers. But again, you know, you have to choose. You have to choose a biker that you want to race with. So you don't really have a career as such, really. You've got a journal, which you can read tutorials and facts about the world of the TT. And you unlock different stuff about, like, the Manx cat, indigenous breed. On the Isle of Man, the cat is also known as Stubbin or Rumpy. And, you know, so you'll unlock different things about the history of the Isle of Man, which is quite cool. Seasons, so here's my seasons. But I'm running as this guy because he's just got some cool liveries. But you don't actually run as a with your own career. I have been working on my bike, so if we go to my bike, which is probably you got to go to the map and then to here. So I've got gold parts for my bike, or kind of yellow, level 5. So I can go down to level 4, level 3, level 2, and you start off with level 1. So my bike is pretty much sort of like, so I've given it a good go. So I think, you know, I'm certainly entitled to, you know, a humble opinion about the game. I don't profess to be the best, you know, person out there for this type of game. But anyway, let's get to it. Let's see what we can do. This is a... Yeah, that sound looks good. So this is a Northwest Course Section 2. Now, before we get into it, you will see that the bike is proper planted on the road. I think you can even change the field of view, and it's very sim-like. I think I might have even turned off the racing line on this one, so we'll see how we go. So yes, you just have to race as either Peter Hickman, Michael Dunlop, Ian Hutchinson. All the big names are there, aren't they? So we'll go across to start. Again, looks good, doesn't it? Pull up at the start, guy taps your shoulder, and off we go. Got the line on just for a bit of help. It's a dynamic line, just like the other one. On those brakes. I think this is quite a twisty part of the circuit, to be fair. So I'll take it a bit gingerly, but you will see look, even the hill and the distance. Here I am looking at the distance, and I'm not even paying attention to what we're doing. But literally, you'd see that hill, like all the fields load in, and it's kind of off-putting. If you're just looking at the bike, maybe you wouldn't see it quite so much. Right, off a little bit as we come around this part. But the bike is very good looking, it's very planted, it's very sim-like, this game. And I think if it had a career, I would really, really delve into it. But I wish that they would optimize this game a little better, so it didn't kind of pop in and, you know, so I'm sort of torn between the second and the third iteration of the game, because the second one runs so smooth. It has career mode, it goes to Wales, Scotland, England, whereas this just stays in Ireland. So it's sort of like between the two, there's a bloody good game here. But you know, you just got to sort of like choose your poison, really, to which one you want to sort of play and which one's going to tick the box for you. So staying flat over this crest, definitely going to be on the brakes in a bit, probably about here. Yeah. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to get that stop. Yeah, dynamic line working for us there. Oh, crikey, pop that on the dirt. Come around this church. Now, if you get into a built-up area, you will find that some of the frames even drop. So I'm just trying to see if I can go flat. I think we'll just roll off and roll through. That wasn't so bad. It's not for the faint heart, these type of games, I've got to say. But there's no, you know, how that other one was sort of like the bike was floating. I think I went through that wall then. So I'm trying to talk and look at the map and race. And it's not easy. But the Ride on the Edge 2 does seem a bit more arcadier, and this does seem a little bit more sim-like, you know? Go on a curb there. Shouldn't have got away with that. Through Kurt Michael. But yeah, I think it's going to be... It'll be interesting if you play this game, like, and you've got a comment on it, and you're like, well, no, I dig 3, or I dig 2, or I wish kind of like 3 had this. I definitely wish it had all the, you know, the Scottish, Welsh, Northern Ireland, and English road circuits on it. That would be quite good. It's like I said, if I wasn't talking for the video, I wouldn't do too bad. But let's have a look at the replay. And hide UI. It's a good looking game, but like I said, it just seems to load in a lot of the graphics, and coupled together with not having a career mode. I don't know whether this game was rushed or, you know, yeah, that's why I went off, wasn't it? That's okay, we're just talking about the game, really. I'm not professing to be anything special. I think on this game I have done the Isle of Man TT in 20 minutes. I know that's slow, but that's my time. I'm hoping to improve it, to be fair. Look at the side of that bike with the trooper there. That's very, very cool. Again, that all loaded in just as the bike was coming around. So I think that's my opinion. The opinions, look how that texture on the back of that hill. I think they're both worthy to have in your library. This one is certainly more challenging. The other one's a bit more arcadey, super hang-on. This one seems to have better graphics, but it struggles with optimization of frame rate and kind of loading those graphics in. Sometimes the Isle of Man Ride on the Edge 2 can look stunning when the sun's coming over the lake, or it's sort of sun-kissed over the tarmac. We have got weather in this game, so you do run in the rain sometimes, but the textures on the background of this is quite poor, you know. So I thought, because I've been enjoying both of these games the last couple of days, yeah, we've got away with that. We were literally on the dirt. Like I said, it's not my best racing, but I just wanted to kind of, like, you know, just talk about the game, really. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to sign off with a replay of the Isle of Man Ride on the Edge 2. I come through that wall. I thought I did. That should have had me off, that should have. And then you can look at the replays and sort of decide for yourself, really. You've seen some gameplay, and that's kind of my opinion. Kurt Michael there, please drive carefully. And here we are going through at 120 miles an hour. But yeah, that's me. I think I'm gonna drop the odd bike video on Sundays. They're not going to be weekly like Trucking Tuesdays and Thursdays, Wild West Wednesdays. But thank you for bearing with me on this channel. You know, I enjoy lots of genres. I'm just still trying to find my feet. But to the subscribers, thank you. Thank you for being awesome. And I'll leave you with a replay of the Isle of Man Ride on the Edge 2. I'll see you on the next video. Take it easy. See you soon. Bye.